What up, y'all? This is Tracy from Nerd Squish, and today we're going to talk about how my faith in the new Wolfman film has been restored. It's a brand new year, and I'm still talking about werewolves. New year, same Nerd Squish. But if there's any year that we should be nerding out about werewolves, it is certainly 2025. Not only is this the year that the Wolfman gets his very own attraction at Universal's new park, Epic Universe, but it is also the year that we get a brand new Wolfman film. That's right, ladies and nerds, we are days away from a brand new take on the classic werewolf tale. I'm so excited I could scream. And you might be surprised to hear that. If you've watched the last video that I did talking about my trailer review for the Wolfman movie, I was critical, to say the least. It's fine to do something original. This is not the originality that we're looking for, okay? So what changed my mind? There have been new trailers and clips floating around the internet showing more of the werewolf transformation. I emphasize transformation. We have still not seen a clear picture or clip of the final werewolf design. However, what I've been seeing is, for a lack of a better term, monstrous. And to back up these visuals that I'm seeing in these new clips, Leigh Whannell has been dropping some pretty cool information in interviews recently. In an interview with Discussing Film, Whannell stated, "You can't compete with Rick Baker, and you can't compete with Jack Pierce either." And it was because of this he decided that audiences needed to see a werewolf unlike anything that they've ever seen before. Leigh wrote the first draft in 2020 during the COVID lockdown. As a result, the major themes of this movie are isolation, dread, and anxiety. All of these things are also reflected into the new werewolf design that appears more diseased rather than cursed. Leigh stated, "We've all seen a man transform into a beast under the moonlight. It's a shared image of our collective cultural consciousness. To me, the horrors of Wolfman lie in the infection. In modernizing the werewolf, I didn't want to make it about a curse or anything mystical. In our post-pandemic world, the proximity to people in our own homes who can be ill with a dangerous sickness is what was most interesting to me. So I don't want people to walk in expecting the usual or a complete homage. You can take all these classic monsters and wrap them around different concepts to modernize them. In this way, Wolfman has much more of an infection angle." Now, this quote and all of the things that he's saying about the design brought me down a roller coaster of emotions. Initially, I want to hate this because we already did the pandemic and I really don't care to do that again. I go to movies to escape the BS of life. So if the BS of life is creeping into the movies, that just kind of takes all the fun out of it for me, personally. We all know that Whannell took the monster out of the monsters when he made his 2020 version of The Invisible Man, making it more realistic. Instead of making a movie about a mad scientist, it was more of a commentary on abusive relationships, which is not why I go to see a Universal monster film. However, there is something about the way that he is describing his version of lycanthropy that is truly terrifying, which is refreshing. This may come as a shocker, but when I'm watching a horror movie, I want to be horrified. I love a lighthearted werewolf story that makes the werewolf as cute as a button, but that is not what this movie is trying to be. Whannell has acknowledged the bashing of the werewolf design that was unveiled at Halloween Horror Nights. He claims that we are going to be blown away by this werewolf, and he continues to stand behind it. He also claims that the makeup artist that worked on this design, Arjun Tootin, probably didn't say that name right, but he said that he is one of the world's best and belongs in a Hall of Fame standing next to Rick Baker and Stan Winston. Now, that's strong words right there. Another way that this movie differentiates their werewolf or their Wolfman is not in just the final form, but the transformation itself. It's less of a, oh no, it's the full moon, it's time to get wolfy, and more of a body horror slowly evolving over time. After all, Winnell has stated that this movie is a tribute to the 80s movies that he loves, such as The Thing and The Fly. And we all know The Fly. Well, okay, hold on, back up, story time. I've never actually seen The Fly. Love Jeff Goldblum, okay. I love the idea of this movie. However, y'all remember that show, I Love the 80s, where they would just like break down random things by the year? They showed clips of this movie. And in showing the body horror of Goldblum turning into this fly man, it grossed me out so bad that I didn't eat meat for a month. So, I haven't been able to get past that. I don't know if I'll ever see this movie, right? Which is dumb. Like, I love horror, and I like transformations, but for some reason, this is just like a thing in my mind that I cannot get past. Anyway, not the point of the story. Point of the story is, in The Fly, it was a slow transformation over time. It got grosser and just more disgusting. So that's what we're seeing in this film, which I think is super interesting, right? Because even in the slowest transformation scenes that we've seen before, like, for example, I'm thinking American Werewolf in London. This felt like one of the longer transformation scenes. I mean, you're watching it and you're in pain. You're like, buddy, let's get this over with because I'm sweating over here, right? So it's interesting that we're gonna have, you know, essentially 2 hours of this dude just wolfing out. Like, that sounds incredibly painful, and I do love that. Like, that sounds horrifying, which is, hello, that's why we're here, monsters, right? I think Winnell is starting to get it by this description, which, again, this just restores my faith and makes me think that we're going to see a truly scary werewolf film. Am I still scared that it's going to be hairless? Yes. Yes, I am. But I don't know, I like this slow, painstaking transformation. Now, on the flip side of that, I kind of fear that it's gonna go on too long and we're gonna be like, all right, get on with it. Like, let's go. Let's howl at the moon, buddy. What are we here for? Maybe I have a short attention span, but I really like things to just get on with it. I am very much a person that, whether it's a movie or a TV show, you got 5 to 10 minutes to hook me. Okay? If you can't do it in that time, you are wasting my time. You have made a pointless movie. I don't have time for this. Get on with it. You know, people often say in TV shows, like, oh, you gotta watch like 2 episodes and then it gets good. No. There's too much good TV out there. I don't have time to waste 2 hours of my life on something so then it can get good in the 3rd hour. So, I'm not an artsy, fartsy, slow burn type of gal. That's not my shtick. And that is one thing that still kind of, I don't know if I want to say worries me, but I don't know how to feel about that. It's different, I can say that. So I do kind of appreciate that fresh take on a werewolf transformation scene. Another thing that gives me hope about this new take on the Wolfman tale is that it adapts one of the most important elements of the original film. The original 1941 movie follows Lawrence Talbot as he returns to his father's estate, falls in love with a beautiful woman, is bitten by a werewolf, and is cursed to transform into a beast under the full moonlight. The 2010 remake changed a few of those details, but in the big scheme of things had the same basic premise. While this 2025 version is a completely new take on the story, seemingly only sharing its title, there is a common theme. All 3 of these werewolf films use the werewolf transformation as a narrative device to delve into psychological themes. Now, are we going to see this movie to watch a supernatural creature cause mayhem and carnage? Yes, but we're also going to see the way lycanthropy is altering the mind of a dude turning into a werewolf, his protective wife, and his terrified daughter. Everything is warped by this transformation. Now, this is especially interesting considering that the original script for the 1941 film never showed the actual transformation. The original idea for the film was meant to make you wonder if this man was actually turning into a werewolf, or if it was all just in his mind. The 2010 remake even leaned into this, with Benicio's Lawrence being admitted to the asylum for his delusions of lycanthropy. So psychology has always been a huge part of the Wolfman story. All of this is to say that I am insanely excited to watch a brand new Wolfman film in theaters on January 17th. Which is crazy because I felt the complete opposite way 2 months ago, and I know a lot of people felt the same way I did. But hearing Winnell's excitement for this film and what they did to set it apart from the others made me step back, and I realized that perhaps I was a bit too harsh before. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that I was really excited to see the team up of Ryan Gosling and Derek Cianfrance for a Wolfman film. And having them leave and this evolve into other things with different directors and different actors, I just assumed that it was going to be a complete, terrible, just accident waiting to happen, right? So I think there was just other things affecting the way I was looking at this trailer. After all, how lucky are we to get another version of The Wolfman? I doubt it will be one of my favorite movies of all time, but I love watching a good old werewolf story. If you're a werewolf fan like me, you know that we don't get a lot of werewolf movies, especially good ones. I've always been fascinated with werewolves since the first time that I saw the black and white film starring Lon Chaney Jr. The gothic horror atmosphere surrounding a man yearning for love and a normal life while fighting urges as a result of a cruel fate, what's not to love? It's a timeless story that's been told time and time again in a variety of ways. And no matter how many times they make this story, I'm gonna be there to watch it. So what do you think? Are you excited for the new Wolfman film? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, if the design does suck, it gives me a good reason to make another werewolf design rating video and make fun of it relentlessly. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so when new videos hit the channel, you'll be notified. And if you like werewolves, you definitely want to stick around because that's kind of a specialty around here, whether it's reviewing werewolf movies and TV shows or just making fun of werewolf designs. That is what Nerd Squish is here for. And as always, thank y'all for watching, and I'll catch you nerds later!